got a reoccurring guest, Sam Gaynor, on the show. It's been a little bit of time, man. Welcome back, by the way, Sam, man. I appreciate you giving us your time once again on Blacklisted, man. It's always a pleasure having you on as a guest. You like I said, you always got love in my corner, man, for you. You were the very first guest we had on the show. I still got your jersey hanging, and it's always going to be that way, man. But how are you doing, by the way?
I'm doing pretty good. Thank you very much for having me on again. It's always a pleasure to be on your show, and it's awesome to watch your platform evolve and get bigger and bigger. And yeah, I appreciate you having me back on again.
My pleasure, my pleasure. How was your Vegas trip, man? How was that? Tell me about that.
It was pretty cool. I mean, I'm not a huge party person, but you know, it was supposed to be my 21st birthday gift from my mom, and then it happened right near my birthday, so that was just when we could go since COVID kind of not ended, but when it opened up a bit more. So yeah, it was cool. We got to see a bunch of shows, got to see Grand Canyon, got to see Hoover Dam. Yeah, it was really cool. It was a cool experience. I mean, I want to go back again one day, but yeah, it was definitely really cool.
Right on, man. I'm glad you had a good time over there and got to see some of the things, man. It's a good place for visuals, that's for damn sure, right? So
yeah, a lot of big things, a lot of yeah, a lot of money, that's for sure.
yeah, right. All right, man, let's get into this interview, dude. I want to recap your season. You came into the season pretty much off of injury, right? You were dealing with your wrist injury. You got thrown on the 125, and you pretty much swept the season, man. I don't know if that was expected from you, but how do you feel about that?
Yeah, it all starts back at Club MX. You know, right in the 450 was where I wanted to be. So training on that was super good. We were really starting to make some headway. You know, the 2 or 3 weeks before my big crash, I had a little incident where I crashed and dislocated my nose. Got that put back in place, and then it was, you know, I felt like we were making headway with the bike, starting to really, you know, move forward with things, and then yeah, out of nowhere, just the first lap of a practice moto hit a kicker, and then next thing I knew, I woke up a day later and I was in the hospital. You know, so that's kind of where it all started, and then we came back from that, and the injury I had was, you know, my broken scaphoid, and they say scaphoid takes up to a year. So immediately we knew, damn, like we don't really know what we're going to do this year. You know, and I was sitting at home one day and my dad approached me. He's like, hey, I had this idea. What do you think if you rode a 125 this year in the premix class? And I was like, let's go for it, because I know I can't hold on to a 450. So then I was like, let's go for it. And then, you know, he's like, well, I haven't talked to Steve about it, so we got to talk to him first. And then my dad mentioned it to Steve, and Steve's like, that's funny you said that. I was actually going to mention it to you guys, but I didn't want you guys to get offended. But long story short, it was, you know, a team decision. Everyone made the decision. It was, realistically, if I wanted to race, it was my only option. You know, my wrist is still to this day way too bad to do anything. So, you know, we made that decision as a team to make that. And then, yeah, going into the season, I had no idea what to expect. I mean, mentally, in my own mind, I was expecting a win. That's what I wanted. But, you know, going to the first round, you never know who's going to show up, how fast they're going to be. And realistically, all season long, you know, Jack Wright, Gavin Forsby, Cole Pranger, you know, all those guys, the Roberts brothers, everyone, they were all going fast. I mean, it wasn't an easy class to win. It wasn't just handed to me. You know, there was a couple weekends I didn't even get on the podium. So it was a good year. It was fun. You know, and then I double classed to just try to push myself to the next limit and see, you know, what I could do in the 250 class on my 125. And I pretty much, you know, met my goal of top 15 almost every weekend. You know, and then Walton was, it was one of those funny days, you know, from the highest of highs to the lowest of lows. You know, beginning of the day, won a championship, and at the end of the day, I was leaving in an ambulance coughing blood, you know. So it's funny. You go from one end of the spectrum to the other. So but yeah, no, I mean, overall, it was a good year. I wouldn't have been able to do it without Steve Sims, my parents, and everyone behind me. You know, I really appreciate everyone that's been in my corner.
Dude, I know you got to be tired of those damn injuries, man.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, it's been quite the road. You know, it's I think we counted the other day. I think it's 41 broken bones, 4 concussions. You know, it's definitely been a roller coaster of a ride, and yeah.
So after the season ended and you started healing up, man, where you been? You kind of went MIA. We haven't heard from you. How you been?
Yeah, it's you know, it's been a tough decision. It's really been a tough off season. You know, I finished racing, and like I said, my wrist is still broken. You know, I still can't move it from day to day. It's you know, some days it's like looks like a balloon on it, and some days it looks normal. I mean, my wrist is still broken, but yeah, honestly, from the end of the season to now, it's I have been MIA. You know, I've been trying to kind of keep, you know, contact with, you know, social media, but you know, on an honest term, I've been fighting a lot of mental health. I've been seeing a lot of doctors for that. Some really bad PTSD from some of my crashes, you know, things like that. And then my wrist is broken. And then actually, about 2 weeks ago, we found out that I might have some possible cancer. So I have to go in, get some more tests. Got to go for some MRI, some blood tests, some other tests too. It's pretty big stuff going on in my life right now. And as bad as it sounds, you know, dirt bikes is kind of on the back burner right now. You know, like I said, it's been a huge decision, but me, my family, and the team have decided I'm going to step away from professionally racing for 2023. So I'm still going to hang out at the track. You know, I want to go to some of the local races. You know, I'm not calling it a full retirement. You know, I'd like to come back to racing, but like I said, honestly, you know, they found tumors, and they have to be surgically removed no matter what. We're just trying to figure out if it's cancer or not. And then, like I said, I've been fighting some pretty bad mental health and some pretty bad PTSD. So I've been going through that. But yeah, honestly, that's kind of why I've been MIA. You know, Walton finished, and right away it was like I had surgery on my hand. Like a couple weeks after, I had surgery on my hand, which I was awake for the whole surgery. They took out the plate and 5 screws. That was one of the most painful things I've ever gone through. And then, you know, after that, it was just, like I said, it's just been a mental battle. So yeah, for 2023, I'm just gonna, you know, work full time, and just get myself better. You know, I was saying yesterday that I feel like one of those old, you know, beat up cars that you see going down the road that needs a lot of work. You know, I've reached out to all the people, you know, and then, you know, on top of all that, I have a really rare skin condition that I'm trying to get figured out. And, you know, so it's just, you know, I've reached out. I have so many doctor's appointments, it's not even funny. So I'm just going to work full time and try and get myself better, and then see what happens when it comes to 2024. I mean, I had some awesome people in my corner, some people willing to step up and, you know, move forward with 2023. But, you know, I felt like for me to give my all and, you know, give everything that someone deserves, you know, I couldn't do it. You know, I just felt like, you know, someone would invest a lot of time, money, effort into me, and, you know, I wouldn't be able to return what they're investing into. So, you know, I just felt like for it to be fair to everyone, you know, that's the decision I had to make. Obviously, it's a huge decision. It's, you know, this is a sport that I've been involved in since I was 3 years old, you know. And like I said, it's not been easy. I mean, this is it going out on the internet, you know, like up to this interview, you know, my parents, a couple of my really close friends, and that's about it. Like, you know, no one really knows. So, you know, this is me putting it out there. You know, I appreciate everyone that's done everything for me. You know, and like I said, I don't want to call it a full retirement because I'd like to get healthy and see how things go. But, you know, as of right now, this is just kind of what I have to do.
It's a shock to me, man. And you just kind of opened my eyes to a lot of things that I didn't even realize or I didn't even know what was going on. And I appreciate you just even coming on the show to express how you feel and what's going on in your life, dude. Like, it makes me sad at the same time, but at the same time, it's way better for you to pull out of the sport. You know, your health is always most important, right? So
yeah, like I said, maybe I didn't reach, you know, my full potential. You never know. Like, maybe I could have been a champion type thing, but you know, at this point, I'm proud of, you know, everything I've done. You know, I've landed on a podium at Loretta Lynn's. I've won Rookie of the Year. You know, I won Rider of the Year in 2016 for AMO. You know, I got to go to Des Nations as a part of the Youth Ambassador program. I feel like I've made a big impact in the motocross world positively. I feel like, you know, 95% of the motocross community probably really likes me and has a lot of good things to say about me. And, you know, there's always that 5%. But, you know, I feel like I've made a good impact on the sport. You know, I'm really proud of what I've come to. You know, like I said, this isn't an easy decision. It's probably a decision that I made back in August. And it's just, you know, it's something that it's been on my mind, but it's, you know, I know it's the right decision to make right now. You know, I don't have any regrets at this point. You know, my dad's still going to keep the two 125s that we have. I kind of plan on going to do the Go for Dunes National next year and kind of do a 125 and 250 class, just go have some fun. But I mean, obviously that's all dependent on what goes on with my physical health, you know. But I mean, I'd like to go out and at least do 1 or 2 races next year, still be involved, still have some fun, still see everyone. You know, I still want to support, still want to give back to the sport. But at the professional, full level, traveling coast to coast, you know, for 2023, I'll be stepping away from that.
Smart decision, man. Smart decision. Work on yourself first. Yeah, like I said, it's a big thing that you need to do. I think a lot of times that just, and not even just in your life, just in general, people go through so much, right? Where it drains them. It drains them. It makes you sick. You know what I mean? It just puts you in these conditions where you don't realize it until you step out of that position. And that's when you can start to better yourself. It's always good to step back, man. Take some deep breaths, heal yourself up, and then from that point on, you can kind of evaluate yourself and see where you're at from there. And if you feel that you're making improvement and you're ready, then come on back. You know, you're always well accepted. Like you said, you put an impact in the sport of motocross, and it was a huge impact. You know what I mean? So I like to see you healthy. I like to see you back on the track at the same time. But like I said, your health is most important, man. And I just want to say, whatever you need, Sam, man, we're here for you, man. Like I said, whatever's going on in your life, man, if you want to discuss, you want to open up with me, you need somebody to talk to, dude, I'm here, man. So I always got your back, Sam. You were the first person, like I said, I interviewed, man, and you always got a space right here for you, man. I always got a space right there for you, dude.
I really appreciate it, you know, and like I said, you know, it's a huge decision. You know, there's been several days where I sit and I'm like, crap, did I make the right decision? You know, because kind of when you tell people you're closing that door for that, you know, that's a big decision. You know, you can't just come back and be like, oh, by the way, actually I was kidding, you know. Yeah. It is a big decision, but you know, honestly, like I said, I've thought a lot about it. I've invested a lot of my time thinking about it. You know, I've done a lot of, like I said, just reflecting, and you know, it's what I need to do. Like I said, you know what, you know, I know there is kids that have a lot of injuries, but you know what 22-year-old has broken 41 bones and, you know, had a lot of concussions, you know, not very many. And, you know, you know, when I told Steve, we both had a sit-down conversation about it. And it was right after his injury. And it was just like, you know, I rode through a lot of injuries that I probably shouldn't have, you know, like 2019, broke my foot, and then I had to wear a boot 2 sizes bigger just so I could fit my foot in it to race, you know. And, you know, like I raced with broken ribs that people didn't even know about. You know, I was racing at times that people didn't even know I was injured, but you know, I just didn't even want to say anything because, you know, there was just a lot of big ones, you know. But you know, I've been hurt every single year from 2012 to current. You know, I've broken a significant bone every single year from then to now. So it's like I said, I need to give my body a break. You know, I've reached out to all the right doctors. You know, like I said, I think I have a stupid amount of doctor's appointments that I have, especially within like to 2 weeks, especially with this new tumor and stuff that we found. But yeah, you know, like it's just investing back into yourself. You know, you invest into yourself to race, and you go down south, you put in the work. You know, you want to be the best that you can be in the sport. But you know, a lot of these racers, you know, they get injured. Well, I was one of them, but you know, you get injured and you just go, oh, when the bone's healed, we just go straight back to it, you know. And it's just like sometimes you don't realize how big of an impact that has on you, you know. You know, I didn't even realize how much of an impact, you know, it has on you mentally until this year, you know, where I'm waking up at 2 in the morning in a full panic attack, can barely breathe because, you know, I'm in a full PTSD flashback nightmare. You know, it's things like that you don't even notice until they're happening, and they're scary, you know. So it's a lot of things. You know, I've talked about mental health a little bit here and there on my social media, but you know, it's, as a male, first of all, to talk about it is difficult, and then second of all, like I said in one of my posts, it's hard to do it in the sport of motocross. You know, it's a very alpha dog sport that no one wants to be weak in, you know, but sometimes you have to be honest, and you have to be honest with yourself. You have to be honest with the people around you, you know, and that's kind of what it came to for me. You know, I just had to go to the people around me and say, you know, I'm really suffering, and you know, these are the things I'm suffering from, and you know, and then you got to reach out to get the help. You know, you're not going to make a difference if you don't get help. You know, it's you can try to fight all the battles on your own as much as you want. You know, I was always one of those people that, you know, that's what I thought needed to happen, but realistically, you know, reaching out for help, getting medicine, or talking to counselors or whatever it may be, you know, that's what, you know, that's what they're there for, you know. And as much as, like I said, we're alpha dogs, we're in the sport, and no one wants to be weak, it's you know, it's sometimes it just has to be done to, you know, if you want to stay in the sport. You know, maybe I should have reached out a year ago and maybe I wouldn't be stepping away, you know, I don't know, who knows. But you know, like I said, for right now, it's what's best for me. Like I said, I've reached out to all the best doctors there are in the area, and you know, I'm just trying to do everything I can to get myself back to 100%, and then after that, you know, we'll reflect and see what we need to do. You know, I know next summer my parents are planning to buy a boat. You know, I got a brand new nephew. He's super adorable, love him a lot, you know, so I'm just gonna, you know, like I said, I haven't had a single summer as well, you know, like ever since I was 3, I've always been dirt bikes every single weekend from April to September, you know, so I'm just gonna enjoy a summer, you know, spend some time with the new little one, spend some time out on the boat, and just see what a normal, regular life's like while I try to, you know, heal myself. And like I said, reflect. You know, who knows, maybe a year from now I might be like, damn, I really need to be on the bike and that's where I belong. Or, you know, maybe a year from now I might be like, you know what, that is the best decision you ever made, and, you know, just step away from it for good. You know, you never know. So right now, like I said, my plan's set in stone for 2023, and then, you know, we'll reflect when the time comes next year.
Exactly. You like I said, you're making the right decision, man. You're still young. Go out and enjoy your life, man. Take how much time you need to be able to get yourself back together and enjoy your life, and then make those decisions later on when you feel that you're ready. You know what I mean? So motocross is always going to be there regardless, right? You know, it ain't going nowhere. So a lot of things one of the things that I dislike about the sport is like hiding the injuries. You have to always kind of like put those injuries and not let people know what's really going on, but inside you're suffering, right? You know what I mean? You're hurting inside. So it's one of those things. I think if somebody's injured in the sport, get it out there, give them the time that they need to heal and be able to get themselves ready again, and just don't put them through more pain, because it can make situations a little bit worse. That's just my personal opinion, but the team still got to run a business, right? You still got to ride, they still got to race, they still got to do what they have to do on their end. But for the injured and for the ones who's going through certain things in the sport, I think when you need that time, allow that person to have that time when the time is right? Yeah,
and like you know, this year was a perfect example of that. You know, I'm not putting the blame on anyone except for myself. You know, I was the one that was like, we need to go racing. I want to go racing this year. You know, I was the one that, you know, it wasn't Steve. Steve was like, you can take the time that you need. You know, and you know, he had called up another rider and stuff, and my dad was like, you don't have to do it. racing this year, especially after my wrist injury. But I'll say, I put the pressure on myself to go racing this year. But 2 weeks, or no, sorry, not 2 weeks, 4 days before the very last Walton round there, where I won the championship, my doctor called me and he just said, "Hey, just so you know, you won't be riding a motorcycle in 2022." And I was like, "Oh yeah," and he's like, "Yeah, your wrist is not making much headway, and it's a pretty severe injury, so I just want you to know it's still broken, and you're not going to ride a motorcycle in 2022." And then 4 days later, I went out and won a Canadian national championship on the 125. So obviously I didn't tell my doctor about that, but sometimes, like I said, it's the love for the sport in some riders that push them to ride through it, and then sometimes, like you said, there is the team aspect. But there's also a lot of times where it's just it's an injury that us as riders feel like we can ride through, but realistically, when there's always a saying, but realistically, when we're 40, we're gonna feel it. So it's like I said, right now for me, I don't want to say poor pity me, but I have a crazy amount of stuff going on health-wise, and it's just for me to get to 100%. It's what I need to do, and like I said, I don't want Steve or my parents or whoever to be involved in my program. I don't want them to invest all that money, all that time into me, and then them only get 50 to 70% of a return. If they're gonna, I want to give them my 100%. So I feel like that's only fair, and I want other people to get the opportunity too. I know there's a lot of up and coming riders that are they're fast, but there's only so many positions on teams. So I don't want to waste or take up a space and not invest myself 100%. I'd rather someone that can really fulfill it 100%, have that. So like I said a couple of times, it's a difficult decision to step away, but for me right now, in the shoes I'm in, it's definitely the right decision. And I'm so grateful for Steve Sims and Mary Sims and Andrew White, everyone that's involved in that Troy Lee Designs Gas team. I wouldn't be here without them. Steve Sims, since day one, he started helping me in 17 a little bit, selling me some plastics and tires from the team when I was an amateur, and that's how I kind of got involved with Steve Sims. And then he took me under his wing in 2018, 2019. And then 2019 was the biggest. That's when he took me under his wing with Andre Lauren on the Rockstar team, and that's how I kind of really got out there. And then like I said, I wouldn't be here without them. There's people so far back, like Ian Hayden helping me at Moto Park, and people that there's so many people along my road that I appreciate, and I wouldn't be where I am in the sport without them. It even goes back to like Courtney Lloyd and stuff like that with Team Canada. Like I said, there's a list. I could probably sit here for an hour and thank people. But it's I appreciate everyone in the sport. Like I said, it's an amazing sport. I've met so many cool people from so many places that I don't feel like I would have ever met them without the sport, and I really appreciate it. But if pro racers that are watching this interview, or not even pro racers, I want you guys to know it's okay to speak up. It's okay to talk. If you're hurt, just say it. If it sucks, and I know at times I felt like people are just gonna think I'm weak with how many injuries I have. Like I said, I've been hurt every single year for the last 10 years, and a lot. But realistically, you just got to talk about it. There's not much you can do other than just talk about it, be honest, be blunt, and just say, what, this is how it is. And then when it comes to the mental side of it, be honest. Although it is an alpha dog sport, you're not going to go around the track saying, hey, I suffer from this, hey, I suffer from this. But you can, on your personal side of it, go reach out to doctors, reach out to people, reach out to the people that are closest to you. Like Tanner Ward has that awesome foundation, Ride With Me, and all that stuff. Like, reach out to those foundations, and utilize the people around you. It's that the only thing I wish I could reflect back, and not that I didn't know it, but now where I am, I just want to put it out there. If you do suffer, or if you do whatever, it's not the easiest sport. Like I said, it's very, very alpha dog, and there's times where you don't want to show your weaknesses, but your life forever is a lot more important than the sport right now. Obviously, yeah, we want to win and do the sport that we're involved in right now, but all I can say is, yeah, motocross is there forever, and but realistically, after you're 30, 35, unless you're a freak of nature like Tyler Medallia, it's gonna be quicker than you think, and you have a long life ahead of you. So make sure that you're healthy to spend your life with your family, your friends, things like that. Your health has got to be number one.
Oh yeah, very important statement, man. You definitely your health is going to be here, because once the racing doors are closed, you got certain people that are in your corner, but your family's always going to be there, right? So you can spend that rest of that time with that family, man, and you want to be as healthy as you can, and you want to be here as long as you can, so you can be able to spend that time with them. Sam, man, this is a hell of an interview, dude, and like I said, it opened up my eyes that I didn't know what was going on. I appreciate you even just coming onto the show, being able to put that information out there on all the mental things that are going on in your life, the skin situations, you backing off from the sport, everything, man, was just like, damn. Like, these questions I have for you was basically moto questions, but when we took that hard left, man, I just threw all these questions out of the way, man, and just wanted to hear your side of the story, which I felt was more important for me to get to hear you than me to ask my questions, right? But I want to thank you, Sam, man. I want to thank you very, very much for actually coming onto the show and being able to air that out there.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And when you asked me to come on the show, I didn't really know what to say at first, Like I said, I haven't told anyone any of this information, So at first, I had to call my dad and ask him what he thought. I had to call a couple sponsors I hadn't fully told yet, and let them know. But it's like I said, at first when you asked, I didn't know if I was gonna for sure do it, just because I just didn't know. But I've realized it's good to talk about it. It's good to put it out there. Be humble. Be kind. I could hide it for as long as I want, and it could be February, March next year, and people could be like, I wonder where Sam Gaynor signed, or I wonder what Sam Gaynor's doing. But I just feel like it's better to just be honest and just tell people there is the real suffer, and people don't talk about it. There's probably, I don't want to put a number out there, but I feel like a good portion of the gate at a pro national probably suffers from some type of mental stuff, and I feel like they also suffer from physical health, but they just don't talk about it. So I'm just, I guess one of the only ones to really put it out there, and like I said, I need to make myself 100% first, and I appreciate you reaching out to ask me to do an interview. I have been very quiet since the season ended. I didn't really know what to say or what to do. I don't want to mislead anyone. So, I've just kind of been posting my day-to-day life ever since the season ended. I've been kind of a tourist. Went up to Thunder Bay for a week, went to Las Vegas for a week. I'm actually in Ottawa right now for a concert. So I've just kind of been doing like life things, if you want to call it that. So it's been quite a different change, and I have no idea what the future has in store. Like I said, this whole thing that just got thrown at me within the last 2 weeks is it's scary, and I don't know really how to take it. But I know the whole motocross community is behind me, and I appreciate everyone that's always been in my corner. And I can't, all I can say is thank you. I can thank you for having me on this interview. Once again, thank you to Steve Sims, Mary Sims, Andrew White, the whole Trolley Designs crew, Cody Swansboro, Max Lee, all those guys, Gas, and all the people there, Sebastian Law, and there's a lot of good people there that they were behind me no matter what. This year they came to me right away asking me what I needed for next year and things like that, and I just had to be honest with them. But those people, I can't appreciate, or I can't thank them enough. And then all the team sponsors. We had Motul, Oakley, Alpine Stars, Throttle Syndicate, Train Custom Carpentry, Devon Train, Arbonne products. Man, I don't even know. I'm getting a little emotional. You know, it sucks to have to do this, but you know, I appreciate, like I said, there's so many people that I'll never be able to thank everyone enough. I just want everyone to know. Obviously, I can't forget my mom, my dad. They've been there for me since day one. They've been there for me through the ups and downs. They've seen the injuries. They've seen the blunt, honest truth of it all. And they've known what I fought through, and they've always footed the bill, or whatever you want to call it. They've always been there. And my sister, she always comes to a race every year. She always a good support system. I always reach out to her when I have questions about life. She's always been there. Her husband Corey, and then I got my grandmas, and then my my aunts, my uncles, and everyone behind me. Like I said, and cousins and all that. I could, like I said, I could talk for an hour and thank everyone. I would, like I said, I could be here forever. But I appreciate everyone. And I also don't want to forget my girlfriend. She's been there, and her family. They've been a huge support system, especially. The whole time, but especially these last 2 weeks. They've been coming to hospital visits. She sat in the hospital with me for almost 9 hours the other day. So like I said, there's a long list of obviously motocross sponsors, but also the people not involved in the motocross, but outside of that, I appreciate it all. Like I said, I honestly don't know how I can thank everyone enough, other than just be honest with everyone and say thank you. I'm sure there's a lot of questions that people have, and that people will still have after this interview, of not understanding why, but I feel like until you're in my shoes, or until you're in shoes similar to mine, you're not really gonna fully grasp the whole situation. And all I can do at this point, like I said, is just be honest. And like I said, I still want to be involved in the sport. I still want to go to Moto Park Cups. I still want to go to some of the AMO races. I still want to do Pro National next year, just for fun, just me and my dad, like old times, But, like I said, I appreciate everyone, and I just wanted to come on here, be honest, and I appreciate you for letting me come on here and, tell my life story. I didn't even tell you before this interview any of this information, so this is all new to you too. I'm sure you have questions, but those, like you said, these all kind of went out the window. But all I can do, like I said, is just be honest, and yeah.
Well, you did everything, man, and I think you're doing everything correct, man. I want you to just go out there and just enjoy yourself, man. Just enjoying yourself can bring a healing to yourself, right? Once you start cracking a smile on your face, you're around other people, even outside the moto community, where you can just be you. You know what I mean? Like, you've been through this, like you said, you've been through this start of motocross ever since you were a kid, up and pretty much until this point. And you're barely backing out of it now, but allow yourself how much time you need. Like I said, motocross is always going to be here, dude. Even if you don't come into the sport, even if I just see you at the track, it'll be a pleasure just seeing your presence at the track. And I'm sure I'm not the only person that feels that way, right? Because you've given so much into the sport, into the community, and giving back. Like, it's all love. Everybody should have open arms for you, regardless, right? Even the haters, man. Just listening to this story. It's an uplifting story, right? And it makes you realize where you're at in life by hearing you. So it's a very encouraging interview, a very emotional interview. And I just want to say thank you for all the time that you've actually given to Blacklisted Mx. And I don't know how I can thank you, man, but thank you, Sam.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate it.
Anytime, buddy. Anytime. And even like, besides the interview shit, man, like, really, I'm a cool dude outside of the interview, man. And I got a heart, dude. So if you just want to pick up the phone and just chop it up, cameras off, mics off, I'm here. I'm here, really.
I really appreciate it.
Yep. Anytime, Sam. Anytime. And you're welcome back anytime if you want to air something out. If you don't, if you just want to talk and just talk moto, if you want to talk about your life, dude, whatever the case may be, I got your back.
Yeah, and I appreciate it. And the last thing I can say before the interview's over is, if you're a racer and you watch this and you maybe feel the same way, or you feel like you're suffering or whatever, you can reach out to doctors or that. But I mean, you can always reach out to me. I got Instagram DMs, and I'm always looking at it. And like I said, if you have questions, if you have whatever, don't be afraid to reach out to me as well. I'm a super big ambassador. I think mental health should be talked about. It's definitely something that should be out there. Obviously, like I said, there's a lot more than just mental health. But, on that aspect of it, just know, everything's going to be all right. And, anyone can always reach out to me as well. I appreciate everyone that's helped me in the sport. And I just, I want to give back to it at the same time. So I really appreciate everyone and appreciate you.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Sam. Well, man, I don't want to take up too much of your time. You probably got a doctor's appointment or something going on. We made this interview early, so I know you got something probably to do lined up for the day. You're out in Ottawa. You got that concert going on. That's what you got going on. But enjoy yourself at that concert, man. Have a good time. Put a smile on your face, dude, and leave the shit behind you, right? Enjoy yourself. Enjoy those moments now, brother.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Not a problem, Sam. We'll be in contact with you, brother.
Sounds good.
All right, have a good day, man. Have a good weekend.
You too.
All right, thanks.